And welcome back to Sullivan's Unheard Voices. I'm here with Bill. Bill, it's an honor to have you on the podcast. I want to start by acknowledging what I saw when I came up here, right? This amazing Native American War Memorial that you have created.
Yeah, this is the All Nations Native American Veterans Memorial. To our knowledge, this is the only all nations in the whole United States, and it's right here in Jefferson, Oregon.
How did you come up with the idea?
Well, every year I go to Arley, Montana for the big powwow, and there's 14 war memorials between here and Arley, and not one of them honored any Native Americans. So I thought, being a Native American veteran, that I had to do something to recognize the Native American veterans who have fought in every war that this country has ever flown the American flag in. They're back to George Washington. A lot of people doesn't know that George Washington had 26,000 Native Americans in his army. And when they got into I'll have to stop and think a minute.
No problem.
But when they got to their place, they was out of food and water, and the Native Americans snuck through the lines, the British lines, and they brought back 1,600 bushels of corn on their back, and that's what fed George Washington's army through the winter time. And if it hadn't been for the Native Americans in George Washington's army, his army would have starved to death.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are not aware of this. Just like a lot of people are not aware of World War II, when the Japanese were in Alaska, the Native Americans taught the soldiers how to survive in the wintertime because they ran out of food and water. And the native tribes in Alaska taught them how to get food and water in the wintertime, and that's how the Army survived. And if it hadn't been for the Native American veterans and the people, they would have not survived.
Yeah.
And the Native Americans have fought in every war that the American flag has flown in. And I'm very proud to be a Native American veteran. I spent 8 years in Vietnam. I have 7,000 flying hours and 150 missions in Nam. And in 1968, I carried Good Morning Vietnam into Vietnam.
Really?
Yeah. And it was the biggest load and the heaviest load ever hauled on a C-124. And I was very fortunate. I got a spot promotion, and I was gifted a Air Force Commendation Medal for doing that, which I really highly appreciated very much.
Yeah.
And it was a great morale booster for the people in Vietnam.
Yeah. That's so awesome. So, Bill, one of the reasons I also wanted to talk to you is because we don't have a real good picture of what the Wind Talker program really was. And you have such a knowledge. Like when you talked to me and told me that it wasn't just the Navajos, right? How many tribes were a part of the Wind Talker program?
There was 34 nations of the Code Talkers.
Yeah.
And the Navajos didn't come in till later. The other nations fought on the East Coast, was fighting the Germans.
Yeah.
And the Navajos come in, and they fought in the Pacific, fighting the Japanese. And they were the ones that got all the recognitions, and the other people were the Code Talkers way before then. There was 42 Lakota, 26 Choctaw, and 4 Comanches in World War I people don't even know we had code talkers in World War One.
No, I had no idea.
And the Germans had broke every code that we had and was kicking our tail until the code talkers started in World War One. And after World War One, when the code talkers started, the Germans lost every battle. And if it had not been for the code talkers, we could have possibly lost World War One. And it's been such an honor for me to be able to get all this stuff together. And I've had some help from some great people to get the knowledge. And I was gifted a piece of paper a few years ago. Back it was 2013, I was gifted a piece of paper that had all the 34 nations of code talkers people's name on it. And it was released in Washington, D.C. And I had a friend that happened to be in Washington, D.C., and he knew what I was doing. And so he snuck out the paper for me.
That's awesome.
With all the names on it.
And is that here at the memorial now?
Yes.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
And so I also saw a picture of you in your traditional dress on top of a horse recently too, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, a friend of mine did a war shirt for me, and it has 150 223 shells on it to represent the 150 missions that I spent in Vietnam. I call it my war shirt.
Yeah.
And it's a very special shirt. And I wear it to powwows. And I have the honor of being an Eagle Staff carrier, which is a tremendous honor. And I was gifted this honor by Mr. Wes Fisher, who was one of the greatest Native American gentlemen I've ever known. And he was my mentor. He taught me so much. And he was very high up in the Arley powwow people from Montana, and very highly respected. And he passed away a few years ago. And I really miss Wes because he taught me so much. Just like years ago, I had a gentleman present me with an M14 with a bayonet and a helmet and a pair of boots to put at the memorial. So I asked Wes, I said, "Can I set this up?" And he said, "No." I said, "Okay, why?" He said, "You do not stick a bayonet into Mother Earth." And so I'd give the gun and the bayonet and everything back to him and not put it up. But I had a young man carve me a rifle and boots and a helmet, and it's in my museum. And he's from Jefferson here, and a great chainsaw carver. And he did a beautiful job. So I've had a lot of help from some really, really great people that I dearly love and appreciate so much.
So I want to circle back for a second, because you said you were distinguished the honor of a what now?
What's that?
You said you were distinguished with the honor of
an Eagle Staff.
Yeah.
Carrier.
What is an Eagle Staff?
Okay, an Eagle Staff, it comes in at the powwow ahead of the American flag, and it has my Eagle Staff has all the feathers. All the feathers on my Eagle Staff have been gifted by combat veterans, and I have 3 feathers on my Eagle Staff that are from deceased veterans, that the feathers were gifted to me by their grandparents. And at the Turner Powwow on the 26th of July, I will be carrying the Eagle Staff there for the 16th year at 90 years old. We're celebrating my 90th birthday at the Turner Powwow. And would love to have people come. And this will be my 16th year of carrying the Eagle staff at the Turner Powwow. It's a tremendous honor to be gifted the honor of being an Eagle staff.
Now, when you're saying you're at the Eagle staff and you're in front of the flag on top in the procession,
Yeah.
You're on top of a horse riding in, right? No, you're walking?
You're walking.
Okay.
And you bring in the Eagle staff and you make a circle, and the dancers follow. And then behind us is a color guard.
Yeah.
And then the dancers follow the color guard. And it's a tremendous, tremendous ceremony. And before you leave, I will show you my Eagle staff.
Okay.
You can't take a picture of it, but I'll show it to you.
You got it.
Because no pictures of the Eagle staff. And
so is that including like the ceremony? So when people have the ceremony, they're not supposed to take pictures?
Yes. That's part of the ceremony where you don't take pictures.
I can appreciate that. Like, so many people I know spend so much time on their phones taking pictures that they're not in the moment. They don't really enjoy and actually participate. Yeah. And so by telling people not to have photos, it ensures that people are engaged and paying attention. I like that.
Yeah, they pay, when you don't take pictures, they pay better attention. And when we do come in with Eagle staff, they beat the drum and do drum songs.
Yeah.
Well, the drum represents the heartbeat of the Mother Earth, and that's what the drum represents. And so the drum beat of the music, and the drum is the heartbeat of Mother Earth, which is, to the Native American people, is very special. And I have some of my own little things. I think it's too bad that the American people didn't listen to the Native people when they come to this country, because if they had of, they would have learned so much from the Native people that could be used today.
Yeah.
Just like there's a book called What My Teacher Didn't Teach Me. And in 1492, Columbus come to this country, and he met the native people. And by 1495, he had destroyed 3 complete nations.
Yeah.
And you could sail all the way to Spain, following the dead bodies that were in the ocean. And so Columbus, to me, was not such a great person, because he didn't appreciate the native people, and he just took them as slaves. And so.
And you grew up on the reservation, right?
No, I grew up in Iowa. My dad was a farmer.
Okay.
And a cowboy. My dad was a trick rider, and a bullwhip man. He could cut a cigarette out of your mouth with a bullwhip. He was a fantastic cowboy. He did his last performance at 85. And then I went into the military at 17. And then later on, I had a chance to go to the reservation and live on the reservation and go to school there. And I lived with Papa Lucero on the reservation, and he taught me so much. And he taught me how to make a mud house and everything. And in fact, one of my houses that we built a chicken house, and it's still standing on the reservation in Isleta, Pueblo, in New Mexico. And I have such great friends from Isleta. And then I lived with Mama Maria and helped her. She taught me how to do jewelry and how to paint. And so I've been doing jewelry now for over 60 years. And it's just, I've had a fantastic life. And then after that, I went to Vietnam. And I went to Vietnam in 1963 with the Green Berets as an advisor. And we landed in Vietnam, in Saigon, on December 17th, 1963, with 23 Green Berets. Christmas Day, 7 of them young men were killed. And every Christmas Day, I honor them 7 guys, and I will to the day I die. Every Christmas Day, I do a prayer for them, and to honor them and what they were. They were great young men. And,
yeah, a lot of people don't understand that once you're in the military, it's a family.
it is.
And when you lose your family, it's just like you lose your real family. It's
It
it's
was
the worst.
heartbreaking.
It's the worst.
They were all killed, and part of them were booby trapped and everything. And some of them lived a terrible death from the booby traps. And it's one of the bad moments of Vietnam.
Yeah. And then when you got out of Vietnam and you went back, you were a cowboy again?
Yeah, I went back to, after I got out of Vietnam, I went back to cowboying because I had grown up as a cowboy.
Yeah.
And I was a foreman of 2 ranches. And the last ranch I was foreman of for 7 years was a Flying M up at Yam Hill that Mr. and Mrs. Mitchell owned. And I was a head cowboy there for 7 years. And it was a great thing. And then I had a heart attack. And so that put an end to my cowboying, because after I had open heart surgery, I had a triple bypass. People were afraid to hire me because they was afraid I'd have a heart attack again. So I quit cowboying, and I went to work, and I worked for Trees Inc. for 5 years. And at the age of 73, I asked for a week off, or actually 2 weeks off, to make a walk. And the boss said he couldn't give me 2 weeks off. And I'd only missed 4 days in 5 years.
Wow.
So I said, well, you have my resignation. And he said, what do you want? I said, I want to walk the Oregon Trail of Tears. See, Oregon has a Trail of Tears that starts at Table Rock.
Yeah.
And goes to Grand Round.
Yeah.
And he said, you're going to make that stupid ass walk?
Stupid ass?
And I said, yes. And I said, you have my recognition. Well, at 73, I made the walk.
Yeah.
Me and a gentleman from Grand Round who has 6 Purple Hearts, and he was shot 8 times and stabbed twice. And he's a tremendous friend and a tremendous warrior. And he and I made the walk. And
how long did it take you?
We walked it 11 days. We walked 29 miles a day.
Wow, at 73.
Yeah. And I'm the only, there's only been 9 of us ever make the walk. And I'm the only one that walked it in moccasins as the original people. And it was 1 year before I could put my boots on. When I got done with the walk, I had absolutely no skin on the bottom of my feet. And so I couldn't put my boots on for a year. But it was one of the greatest achievements probably that I could ever make to honor the people, because we honored the old people that made the walk, and we honored all the great people that have died from cancer in this country. His wife died 6 months after the walk with cancer, and at that time, my wife had cancer, and I lost her a few years later, but we made the walk to honor the people with cancer and the ladies that had cancer, and the old people that made the walk, and they took, because they made them make the walk in February, and it was wintertime, and a lot of them didn't make it, and it was like the Trail of Tears from Oklahoma. If you fell down, they left you lay. If you couldn't get up, they just shot you and left you lay. And so it was such an honor to make the Oregon Trail of Tears walk. And I'm really proud because one of the gentlemen that from Grand Round, who was a great friend of mine, and he did the War Memorial at Grand Round, and a tremendous artist, and he made the walk also, and I just was tremendous to make the walk, and it was something I just had to do.
Yeah, almost like a calling, if you will.
Yeah, it was something I just had to do it.
And mad respect for doing it in the moccasins too. Like what a way to honor your culture and your people.
Yeah, I had the moccasins are in my museum with holes in the sole.
Yeah.
The moccasins were made out of elk hide, and I had double soles on the bottom, but I've worked out of. And what people don't realize when they drive down a part of the trail is I-5.
Yeah.
And when you drive I-5, you don't realize that it's at a slant, and you were walking slanted all the way.
So it's sort of like you're walking, instead of walking on a straight path, it's sort of like this.
Yeah, you're walking.
Oh, wow.
And we carried our eagle staff the whole walk to honor the people.
Yeah. And then did you just sleep where you were at?
Yeah, we had a motorhome that was following us, and we'd sleep in that motorhome at night, and then get up early in the morning and start our walk again. And yeah, it's just been a tremendous honor.
Because I don't think a lot of people appreciate what happened to the Native Americans. Like, so many people lost their lives overnight.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I know Oregon is one of the few places that, you know, it has a colored past in terms of recognition and the way they sort of handled that situation.
Well, one of the greatest battles was the Klamath.
Yeah.
And they fought, and they held the army off for, I think, a month or 6 weeks or something like that, digging in trenches and fighting in the volcano area. And the Klamath, they were tremendous warriors, and I have some great friends from the Klamath tribe. And so, and then it's just been a tremendous life.
Yeah.
And I am very fortunate. I have Agent Orange, and the Agent Oranges eat up half my heart. I only have half a heart left. But right now, it's kind of dormant, so I'm doing okay. And I just keep going till I can't go no more.
Yeah.
Till the Creator calls my name, I'm going to keep on fighting. And I have to keep fighting for the Native people and the veterans because our Native veterans are such warriors. We had 48,000 Native Americans and veterans in Vietnam that were registered, and there was 56,000 that was unregistered in Vietnam.
Wow.
And a lot of people don't know that either.
I didn't know that.
And the Native Americans, there was 4,000 Tommy Hawks in Vietnam. They were all carried by the Native Americans. And the Vietnamese people feared the natives with the Tommy Hawks worse than they did with the ones with the guns.
I could see that. Yeah.
And what's really funny, because it carried on into Afghanistan, and there was supposed to have been 6,000 Tommy Hawks in Afghanistan. And these are special Tommy Hawks. I have one of them. In fact, I will be putting it in my museum.
So what exactly is a Tommy Hawk for some people who may not know?
Well, a Tommy Hawk is a war club. Only these were special Tommy Hawks. They had a axe type end on it and a point on the other end. They were a very wicked weapon.
Okay. And then why did you, were you drafted into the military or did you join?
Oh, I joined it.
Is it because of your father, because of your parents, or just?
My great-grandfather fought in the Civil War. My grandfather fought World War I and was mustard gassed in World War I by the Germans. My dad fought in World War II, and he had 28 operations on his legs after World War II. And then, so I come from a warrior family.
Yeah.
So I had to become a warrior. And so that's why I went into the military. And between the military and my civil service, I done 39 years, 11 months, and 7 days between the two.
And in the military, you were flying C-130s?
124s.
124s.
Until 69. And in 69, they took the 124s away from us, and then I went to 141s.
Okay. And those were the supply planes?
Yeah, we were carrying supplies back and forth.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That must have been a wild ride.
And then in Vietnam and flying shakies, I used to kick the paratroopers out, and the guys like that. We did drops for paratroopers.
Yeah.
When they dropped in. And so I was a load master, drop master, and a rigger. I went to rigging school at Fort Lee, Virginia.
Yeah.
And that's where I learned how to drop vehicles out of airplanes. And the big G11 chute, which is a 100-foot chute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like I almost was a parachute rigger.
Oh, you was?
Yeah. I decided to do a mechanic for the Army instead.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your service, too.
And then I have an odd relationship with that term. You know? I appreciate it when people say thank you for your service when they mean it, and I know you do, and so I'm honored when I hear that. What I'm afraid of, though, is when I hear it from other people that it's just lip service. Like they're saying thank you for your service, but they don't really mean it. Yeah. And a lot of people don't really understand the sacrifices that soldiers have to make in order for this country to be free.
Yeah.
And so I always whenever I hear that, thank you for your service, I always pause for a second and what am I supposed to say?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I understand what you're saying. Just like this morning, Judy and I stopped and got a donut and a cup of coffee. And as we were walking out the door, a young man stepped up and opened up the door and held the door for me and said, thank you for your service. But I could tell he really appreciated it.
Yeah.
There's
different.
And there's times it's just something for the people to say. They don't. But this young man this morning, you could tell he really appreciated the service and the people that were in the service and the sacrifice that they've made. And that's one thing that I wish. I'm a a, 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 a pretty strong Republican, but President Trump doesn't honor the Native Americans like I wished he would. Like yesterday, he honored the blacks for the Black Month, which is tremendous. And he honored Tiger Woods, which was a great athlete. But I wish he would honor the Native American veterans and the Native American athletes, because we've had some tremendous Native American athletes. And I truly enjoy listening to, and I think he's doing a great job. And I'll get off of politics.
No worries.
But I just wish he'd honor the Native Americans.
And I would extend that to everybody in Congress.
Yeah.
You know, the part I can't wrap my head around when it comes to the way our government treats our veterans is how we can't cover more people for, like, I think if you serve your country and you have an honorable discharge, you should get free health care. Yeah. I really do believe that. I don't think you need to have a service-connected disability. I think that everybody that's a soldier should have access to the VA and have access to VA health care.
Yeah, I agree with you. I fought them for 12 years before I got my disability.
Isn't that something?
And I finally got my disability from my Agent Orange. And for 12 years, they said I was never in Vietnam.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around. For 12 years, they said you weren't in Vietnam?
Yeah, because when you fly for the Air Force, sometimes they don't put it on your 214 that you've ever been overseas. And so my 214s didn't show that I'd been in Vietnam. And fortunate enough, I found a letter that I had signed by one of my crew chiefs from Vietnam. And finally they recognized that letter.
Wow.
But I fought them for 12 years.
And if you hadn't found the letter, you may not have ever gotten...
I'd have never got recognized as being a Vietnam veteran.
That's kind of a disgrace. Yeah. It's kind of a disgrace.
It is. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
They was basically calling me a liar.
No, like, why would you lie about that? You know, like...
And I could tell them what dates I was there and everything, when I first went, and how many hours I had and everything, and they still wouldn't believe me.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I'm glad you finally got your disability. Yeah, Did they do back pay for the 12 years at least?
No. I got a little bit, but not very much.
That's super frustrating.
And my nephew died from Agent Orange. And I've lost a lot of friends that have passed away from Agent Orange.
Yeah.
And some of them in my own family that have passed away. And I have been blessed by the Creator that mine is right now dormant. And everything is going good. I had a great medical report last month from my doctor. And everything's going good.
Good.
And...
So help me understand, because I think a lot of people don't know what Agent Orange is.
Well, Agent Orange was caused by I used to haul 55-gallon barrels of this spray, and the Agent Orange was sprayed to kill all the vegetation.
Yeah.
And my nephew said that when he was on patrol, they sprayed, and he had Agent Orange dripping off his helmet. And we questioned him years ago what it was going to do to the people, and they said it would not harm the people. It was just going to kill the vegetation. Well, that was not correct.
Yeah.
And Agent Orange, and I hauled the 55-gallon barrels of Agent Orange to the people that were going to spray it. That's how I got it. And I'm the only survivor from my crew. There was 9 of us on my crew. All of them have passed away from Agent Orange, and I'm the last survivor of my crew.
Wow. And it just eats you away from the inside?
What's that?
Agent Orange just eats your body away from the inside?
It can eat. It can cause cancer. It can eat up in your internal organs, and it's a tremendous bad thing.
Because I would imagine if it's lethal to plants, it's probably lethal to people too.
Yeah.
And they just didn't bother to.
No,
Wow.
they kept telling us that it would not harm the people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the military used to do a lot of weird experiments on people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's been so many people that have passed away from Agent Orange. In fact, I just lost a gentleman last week.
I'm so sorry.
That was a good friend of mine who passed away from Agent Orange. And it's just one of the bad things of war.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then the negative side effects of war is you don't really, the negative side effects of, I don't know if it's a negative side effect. I don't know if that's the right term. But back in those times, the treatment of soldiers wasn't the paramount concern of the government.
No.
Yeah. And I would imagine Native American soldiers were treated a lot more unfairly than other soldiers.
Well, my dad was hurt in World War II. And like I said, he had 28 operations on his legs. And he was a giant of a man when he went in. And he come home a cripple. And I can remember my dad walking down the sidewalk on crutches as a young kid. And it was heartbreaking to see because my dad was a giant of a man.
Yeah.
And tremendous muscle. In fact, he drove spikes on the Rock Island Railroad when he was 16 years old. And he was solid muscle. And he came home crippled. And because he owned a farm, they only give him $17 a month.
What? Wait, what?
And so he got so mad when they sent him a check for $17 that he told the VA to stick it, and he never received another check.
Wow. Thank you for your service. Here's $17.
Yeah.
What a slap in the face.
Yeah.
Wow.
But my dad was, even being a cripple, he owned a farm, and we farmed, and he was very successful as a farmer.
What'd you guys farm?
We grew corn and soybeans and wheat and oats back in Iowa.
And this is kind of a small farm here too, right? That goes along with the memorial.
Yeah, it's 5 acres here.
And what kind of animals or plants do you have here now?
I just have my big dog, which is my watchdog. I got rid of my horses last year because I'm almost 90 years old and I couldn't take care of my horses the way they should have been taken care of. So I give them to some people that really are taking very good care of them and really appreciate the horses. But I love my horses. I've had a horse since I was 5 years old.
They are the most amazing animals.
Yeah.
Just how smart horses are. And just, they're so majestic.
Yeah. I love horses. And I love performance horses. And I'm a tremendous rodeo fan. I watch a rodeo every night.
That's awesome.
And my son is also a rodeo person. In fact, he was just in San Antonio last week at the rodeo in San Antonio. And
how'd he do?
Oh, he don't perform. He works the shoots and stuff.
Okay.
But he was in a tremendous accident a few years ago. An illegal alien hit him head on. And California being a state that it is, they couldn't prosecute the guy. And he had no license or no insurance, no nothing. And my son had to have back surgery and everything. but he couldn't prosecute him or file a lawsuit against him or nothing because he was in a sanctuary city, a sanctuary state, which is not a proper thing as far as I'm concerned. But
that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because then he had to pay for everything out of pocket, right?
Yeah.
That's harsh.
Yeah.
Is he doing okay now?
Yeah, he's doing real good. He's an instructor and a teacher. He teaches people how to run cranes and work on cranes and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
And he's doing very good. So he travels all over the United States. In fact, next week he's going to be in North Carolina. He just got back from Texas yesterday. So
that's so awesome. So what I see that you have some activity going on here. So like you're expanding the museum, you're sort of expanding all this stuff. Was there how did the expansion come to be?
Well, I had my first trading post in the museum, and we ran out of space. It got too small, so I had to build a new museum. And due to a super good friend of mine, he helped me with the museum, and he financed most of it because I would not have been able to do it for a couple more years.
Yeah.
If it had not been for Jimmy. And Jimmy's such a great friend and a great person, and he built a museum for me. And so we have a great addition to the museum.
So how do people visit the museum?
Well, they get a hold of me, and I let them in my gate because I have a locked gate and an electric gate. And then I take them into the museum and show them in the museum. And most of the people that come here, well, it's the first year we had the museum open, I had 1,280 visitors.
Wow.
I had 26 states. I had a gentleman, a Maui veteran from Australia, come all the way from Australia to see the museum and see the memorial. And next year, I'm going to Australia and New Zealand, if the good Lord lets me. And I'm hoping I can get with him and meet him again.
That's so awesome. And I saw by the guest list, somebody recently came from Denmark.
Yeah. Yeah, I had some people last week from Denmark.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. I've had, I think, 14 countries now.
Yeah.
That's come to the memorial.
That's so awesome. And what's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
The best way to get a hold of me is to call me.
Are you on Facebook? Are you on Google or like?
We're getting I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
And I'm getting a page set up for the memorial. And we're in the process of trying to get a page set up now, so we can do it on a computer. But they can go on Facebook and see the All Nations Native American Veterans Memorial. And it tells a little bit about the memorial. But you have to come and see it to really appreciate it. Because we also, I kind of broke my tradition here a couple years ago. And I honored the Alamo Scouts.
Yeah.
The Alamo Scouts were all Army, and only 14 of them were Native, but there was the greatest unit ever put together by MacArthur, and they rescued 150 prisoners one time, 500 prisoners another time, and marched them through the Japanese lines. And they're the only military unit that has ever engaged the enemy and never lost a man. And that's the Alamo Scouts. And I had the honor 2 years ago of spending 4 hours with the last surviving Alamo Scout. And he was 96 years old.
What an honor.
And I have a video of him and everything. And he signed a picture for me, which is on the Alamo, on the stone. He signed a picture of him when he was 40, in 1943. He signed a picture for me when he was in uniform. A tremendous warrior. The Alamo Scouts were just tremendous, and they were all volunteers.
Yeah. Well, if you need a website, I would be honored to get you hooked up with one.
I would be honored if you could help me.
You got it.
Because I don't know anything about. I have no computers.
Yeah, I would be happy to.
Yeah.
I would be happy to.
Okay, yeah.
We will do that.
Okay, that would be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Because I need a website.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, you do.
Because I got tremendous statues. I got a statue. The big statue of the buffalo and the horses was done by a friend of mine who was a Korean veteran from Arley, Montana. And he passed away in 2012. And when I was back there in 2012, I seen the statue. And so I bought the statue from his family. And I brought it up here. And the statue honors him because he's on our stones. His name is on our stones. And that was Doug Arley was his name. And he was a tremendous friend, good friend of Mr. Fisher, which was my special friend from Arley. And Wes was such a gentleman. He's the one taught me how to make bustles and everything.
Yeah.
And just one day I told him, I said, I want to learn how to do a bustle. And he said, okay. He said, I'll come out to your house. Well, he brought a bustle out, of eagle feather bustle, laid it here on my table, and he started working with me and showing me how to do it. And we'd worked for a couple hours, and he said, well, I got to go home. And I said, well, you better take your oh, no. And he left a fabulous eagle feather bustle on my table. He said, you're the one person I can trust.
Yeah. That's so awesome.
And so he taught me how to do a lot of great things with the native people.
And I saw your setup for jewelry up there.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of jewelry do you make?
I make native jewelry.
As like necklaces, rings, the whole...
Rings and stuff like that.
That's so awesome.
Just a second. Let me leave you for just a second.
No problem.
I'll show you some of my jewelry.
Okay. Here, we'll move that. We'll be right back. Sorry, puppy.
Yeah, I do strictly native style. This is a bear claw earring.
All right, hold on. And we're back.
This is a bear claw ring.
This is a bear claw ring? Oh my goodness.
This is one of my battle rings. There's only been 2 of them ever made.
Wow.
And this is one of my bracelets.
Wow. How long did it take you to make these?
Well, some of it takes quite a while. This took probably pretty close to a month.
Wow.
Now this turquoise represents the native people. And then there's a bead, the twisted wire around that represents the brotherhood. The pieces out there represent shrapnel. The coral represents the blood's been shed by the native people.
That's so beautiful. And then the bear claw.
The eagle rules the sky.
Yeah.
Because no bird can fly as high as the eagle, but the bear rules the earth. And he who walks the trail of the bear walks with great strength.
That's so awesome. Thank you, Bill.
But that's some of the stuff I do.
And do you sell them, or are you just making... So if people want to buy some of your jewelry, where do they go?
They got to come here.
You got it.
I'm not making as much jewelry as I used to because but I'm really fortunate. Most jewelry makers are done by the time they're 70 years old.
Yeah.
They're either have lost their eyesight or they got the shakes and can't do it. And I've just started shaking here shortly. So I'm one of the oldest silversmiths still around.
That's so awesome.
But it's been a tremendous honor. And Mama Maria taught me how to do the jewelry. And she passed away a few years ago with Alzheimer's. And the last time I seen her, she didn't even know who I was. And it broke my heart. But she looked at my hand. I had some of my rings on, and she reached down and took a hold of my hand. So I knew then that she knew who I was, because she recognized and brought back a flash in her memory.
Yeah.
And but she was such a great lady, and I've had the honor of being treated great by Native people, and being able to be with such great Native people has been just a tremendous honor. And I just wished a lot of people could have what I've had.
Yeah.
Because it's just been fantastic. And I don't like being 90 years old. I fight it every day because I just don't like being 90. I dread it every day.
Yeah.
But there's nothing I can do about that.
And I just want to acknowledge, too, so the day we met, you were on the side of the road selling flowers.
Yeah. Judy and I, every year, we sell flowers, and every year we donate all the money to the kids. We buy clothes, shoes, and everything for the kids in Jefferson. This year, Judy and I bought everything for 32 families in Jefferson. If it had not been for us, they would have not had any Christmas at all.
Yeah.
And it's not proper for a Native American to brag about themselves. That's if you're a true Native American, you don't brag about yourself. But it's just been a tremendous honor to work with Judy. and the VFW sponsors part of it. And
I don't say it to brag, right? I say it because I want people to come here next year and buy flowers and help the cause.
Well, it's a tremendous cause, and every penny goes to the kids.
Every penny.
Every penny.
Mm-hmm.
And we, just like a few months ago, Judy works at the school. She's been at the school for, I think, how many years have you been teaching, Judy?
15, she said.
And there was a young girl come to school, and she had tape around the soles of her boots. So we went to town and bought her a pair of boots. So we take care of the kids all year long. And just the other day, Judy took some coats up to kids that didn't even have coats. And we buy coats, and we watch the sales. And like in the summertime, we buy winter coats.
I love it. Okay.
So every penny that Judy and I make goes to the kids. And Judy also puts, if she don't have enough money, Judy puts her own money in.
Yeah.
And
who donates all the flowers? The nursery donates all the flowers, she said.
Heart's Nursery donates all the flowers to us.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. They've been tremendous supporters. Heart's Nursery has just been fantastic in Jefferson.
And they're amazing flowers too, right? They're not like small, tiny little. No, these are beautiful arrangements.
Yeah, they're beautiful, beautiful flowers. We had 7 pickup loads of flowers last year.
Yeah.
And it's just been a tremendous honor to work with Judy and the Heart's Nursery and do this for the kids. I have a young man at the school that I've gifted stuff to that wants to be a cowboy. And he didn't have anything. And I've gifted him a couple coats and stuff like that. I can't gift him no boots because he wears a size 11. And I wear a 9.
Right.
So I couldn't gift him no boots, but we've helped him out. And he's a tremendous young man and going to be a great asset when he grows up.
That's so awesome. And then you're also affiliated with the VFW.
Yes. I'm a life member of the VFW.
And I can attest like how important clubs like VFWs are for veterans.
Yeah, I'm a life member of VFW. I'm a life member of the Legion. I'm a life member of AMVETS.
Yeah.
And if you're a veteran and you do not belong to an organization, you should get along with an organization. Not all organizations are drunkards.
Right. Yeah.
Because of my VFW, we do not drink at all.
Oh, interesting.
And none of us drink.
So what do you guys do when you get together at the VFW?
We have our meeting, and we donate money to help people, and we donate when they do the Veterans Parade and stuff like that. Our group does that. But most of the people in our VFW now have got so old that they can't walk the parade anymore, but if they got a vehicle, they ride in the parade. And
so if there's new veterans out there that are looking for a place, the VFW here in Jefferson needs some fresh people, right?
Yeah, we need fresh people.
Yeah.
Because we're not drunkards.
I love that. And I love that you said that too, because I always was under the impression that's all you did at the VFW was get together and drink. So the idea that you don't is just refreshing to me.
No, we do not drink. And we have a great thing for Our VFW donates a lot of money to the people and helping the people, and then they help us with the flowers.
Yeah.
For the kids, and my VFW donates $1,000 every year to my memorial to honor the Native veterans.
That's so awesome.
And that was set up by Mr. Bud Jones years ago. Bud passed away with cancer a couple of years ago, and he's the one that started the flower sales. Him and Judy.
Yeah.
Started flower sales, and that's Bud and Judy started original flower sales and helping the people. And like I said, if you drive by and see us selling flowers, stop and buy some, because
Please.
all the money goes to the kids.
Yeah. And that's during the what festival is that?
That's Heroes Day.
The Heroes Day here in Jefferson.
In Jefferson.
And if you haven't checked out Heroes Day here in Jefferson, it's quite the treat. The whole town, like half the town is shut down. It's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
So I also wanted to ask you about your ring. Because what's the significance of the ring that's on your pointer finger there?
This is an Air Force ring.
Tell us a little bit about that. That's so awesome.
All that is represents that I was in the Air Force. And it's got the eagle and the Air Force emblem.
That's so awesome. And then on the other side, you have the VFW chain, and I'm assuming that's a native bracelet.
Yeah, Judy just had this made for me.
That's awesome.
And it's all inlaid in opal.
Wow. And then this one here?
This one here, we just got back from Mexico, and this is Mexican red fire opal.
Oh, wow.
And Judy has a bracelet. Do you have your bracelet on, hon? No, I got the ring on. She got a ring. Show him your ring, hon.
Oh. That's so awesome.
She got a gorgeous ring.
Oh, my God. That's beautiful.
The bracelet stone's about that big.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. She's such a great lady. What she does for the kids is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And she's taught at the school. Both of her daughters are school teachers. And the one teacher's in Jefferson, and then Teresa just got her job. Where's she teaching at, hon?
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah.
And she taught in Albany until she got the new job. And so with Judy teaching at school and her daughter teaching at school, we know what kids need help. And we're able to help the kids. And it's such a great honor to be able to help these kids. And I've been blessed to be in a situation where I can kind of help now.
Yeah.
And
I have to say thank you, Bill. Like, thank you for not only creating the memorial, but thank you for allowing the space for this kind of conversation.
Well, thank you for being here, and I appreciate it. And I hope the people enjoy it, and I hope they learn something from it.
I know they will. This has been real fun. I really appreciate it, Bill.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate you going to help me with my webpage.
You got it.
That's really going to help for the memorial. And I guess I could give you my phone number because that's how they contact me.
Yeah, please.
My phone number is 541-915-1558. And that's how you can contact me to come and see the memorial, because I have no computers.
And I would be weirded out if you did, Bill. Thank you so much. And like I always end the show, folks, be kind, be curious, leave judgment out the door. People are beautiful, and this place as a planet is so much better off if we're all just kind to each other.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you very much. It's an honor.